we're back! Yay!
We fucking did it.
We fucking did it. It is Thursday morning. Not right now, but
It is not. When this comes out, it will.
Yeah,
That's
and
the thing every time now. Sorry.
yeah, and we are here.
Yeah, there we go.
Just waking up.
Yeah, let me get my coffee.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
We're here with Mr. Dan Fox from Antigravity magazine, and we were fucking dying to talk to you, man. Hear
Hell
the
yeah,
stories.
man. Thanks so much for coming
Thank
out.
you for having me. I
Hell
appreciate
yeah.
it.
I drink a beer with you, but I am on a lot of cough medicine right now.
That's okay, yeah.
So.
Yeah,
Oh, shit. I
you-
think that fridge is open. Bust that.
Yeah. Well, anyway, man, how have you been doing?
I've been okay, just maintaining like everyone else. It's choppy waters, but yeah, hanging in there.
Do you live? Where do you live?
I live on the Westbank.
Okay.
But I'm a total transplant. I grew up uptown. I grew up in the Carrollton area, but I moved to the Westbank about 10 years ago.
Cool. And so you were saying earlier, we actually were talking on the stairs for a little bit. You were explaining to me that you went to the smaller shows earlier in life and didn't end up going to big stadium shows like I was trying to relate with you on the stairs a moment ago. But
yeah, no, I got into punk through a friend who like really had a pipeline to like really good underground punk rock, and like the first shows I ever went to were at the Abstract Cafe and places like that are well mythologized.
That's funny. That's the one that
in the
Severin
scene.
was talking about.
I mean, it's legendary.
Right.
It's mythological. And it was all ages.
Oh, nice.
It wasn't a bar. I think Severin may have described it. I've heard it described as a halfway house, like run by a judge. And my joke is always it was more of a quarter-way house. And it was
even
always
worse
just a
than
little,
halfway.
a little.
it was a scene. But yeah, that was my introduction into punk, like Lookout Records type stuff.
Yeah.
And then Ebullition. And then, ironically, it wasn't even until college that I got into the Misfits,
Right.
and then Metallica. So I did the complete backwards
Right.
reverse thing, like straight to
Fall
the
out of punk into Metallica.
yeah, and even the Misfits. Like I didn't really know much about the Misfits until college, and then I got caught up.
Right.
strangely enough, with all the stuff that I was trying to make myself list, because I felt like I got into punk a little late, and I just kind of overloaded myself with like, who are the fucking classics? I never ever latched on to the Misfits ever. And since then, people have tried to get me into it, but I almost feel like I should have gotten into it.
Too
when
late.
It's too late. I'm fucking 45. The Misfits don't sound the same.
Whatever you do, don't watch any Coachella footage from
Oh.
this year because it is fucking sad.
Oh no.
Is it?
Oh no.
It's bad. It looks like a bad wax museum of the Misfits
Yeah.
melting on stage.
I was gonna say they're just melting away. All
yeah,
the makeup,
it's
all
brutal.
the fucking shit.
It's so brutal.
Oh, no.
I mean, I listened to like 3 Danzig albums, but I didn't like ever get into the Misfits for some reason. I don't know why. I guess that was closer to metal at the time, or what I was
could
used to,
see,
like
yeah,
the big
right.
metal
Right.
that was happening in the 90s. But anyway, were you a musician? Is that what actually
yeah.
brought you into punk music?
No, not really. I mean, my relationship to music has been strange throughout my life. I have been in a bunch of bands, and I got a drum set when I was in high school, and a lot of that was the ethos of punk rock and DIY,
Right.
and it was like really, inspiring. And it was just strange. I grew up like with piano lessons, and like that was just brutal,
Yeah.
And I wanted to play drums in the high school band, but my parents were like, "No, that's not an instrument, and that sounds loud and annoying." So I ended up playing trumpet, for half a year.
for
and
the
I
exact same reason too. 'Cause I
hated
wanted the
it.
drums are like,
That sounds
have
loud.
you tried blowing into this thing, which is much smaller and
Right.
cheaper,
And
You can do outside.
Here, play a bunch of songs that you don't care about.
Yeah.
But I did have a brother, an older brother, who had a guitar, so I inherited
Nice.
his guitar. And since we're in a jam room, we'll get into the weeds with this. But he had a Gibson Sonex 180
Oh, shit.
custom,
He's
Oh,
this
cool.
is perfect for him.
which
He knows
is
this
like
shit.
Isn't that the composite guitar?
it is. It's okay.
Exactly. He knew
Composite
it. I don't know this
guitar
Yeah.
on paper sounds
and,
like shit.
and a bolt-on neck, right, for a
Yeah.
Gibson?
Yes.
Yeah, that is the difference I was looking
Right.
at whenever I saw it.
On paper, not a great guitar, but
Played.
the people who play that guitar, Jimmy Bower,
4 strings though.
Right.
I think the guy from His Hero Is Gone, like he played a Gibson
Oh,
Sonix
shit.
180
Okay.
Custom. So that's a great guitar. It's long gone. I don't have that anymore, but that was like my first guitar. And I mean, I was in bands like a bunch, like here and there, playing drums sometimes like playing guitar, bass.
Right.
But it's not really something that's really stuck for me. I think at the end of the day, I'm better. I serve the scene better as like either a documentarian or like support, like a tour manager type, which I
Right.
love. I love the support part of the scene. It's as important as anything else.
Yeah, right.
But it didn't stop me from like trying to be a rock star.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Forever.
Yeah, we're still playing for
We're
Christ's
still
sake. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're not trying to be. I guess like in the
No.
last few years, I've kind of let that disappear. But maybe just to,
Oh, yeah,
just to
slow
give me
down a
the
bit.
fucking like, because it wasn't that I was going to be a rock star, but one day I'd be able to tour. That's what I always
Yeah.
thought. But then I
Well-
just got caught up, and I'm not able to tour right now.
Yeah, and it's not it's not even so much rock stardom. That's kind of a joke, but it's like y'all probably have some discipline, right? Like you practice regularly
Yeah.
and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So
Yeah.
I mean, you have the discipline, which I don't have for being in a band so much. Like I was just never good at practicing. Like my mechanics aren't that great. I mean, I love songwriting. I love being in the studio, and I love the camaraderie
Yeah.
of being
Yeah.
in a band. I never really liked playing shows.
Okay.
That kind of.
Did you? I forgot. Did you tell me? Did you start playing drums at all as you got older?
Yeah, I mean, I was the drummer in a band called Big Baby.
Okay,
with
cool.
Isidore Grizzoli and Brian Surpass, and we played, a lot
Right.
in the sort of post Katrina era. Like we played a lot of local shows. And then I was in a band called the Lovey Doveys with Izzy again and James Hayes, and we were like a power 3-piece, and we actually toured a bunch.
Cool.
And that, there's a couple records out there. There's one that I play drums on. And I'm really, proud of that moment.
Right.
But that, that came and went. But so it's nice. I have the experience, and I've gone on tour. I've played shows. I've been in the studio and all that stuff. And
Yeah.
I mean, I love it all. It's all, so it's such a wonderful thing. But the live show, the anxiety of that, I feel like to play live shows, you really have to love that. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
get me on that stage. I want
Yeah.
to be on stage. And
Yeah.
I gotta say, that's not my favorite
Right.
part. And if that's not your favorite part, you're probably doomed.
Yeah. No, because they
Yeah.
want that, and it is a ball of anxiety before you get there, as you're doing it until it's over.
Yeah.
I feel like if you pick the right kind of music, though, you get like scream therapy by the end of the night, or you just get to work something out, and it's worth all that anxiety that you were going into. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
Sure.
that's how whenever I feel like we were about to play, I actually feel like I'm actually gonna work through the anxiety on stage, and I'm gonna
Right.
play our music as hard as I can, and then like hopefully that'll help me out next week. And I won't be as anxious next week, and because like I really, I don't know. That's how I feel whenever we play, I guess.
Well, that's good. I mean,
You
to get through it. I mean, and of course, I think there should be some sense of anxiety. I mean, you shouldn't
Right.
be completely careless. But yeah, the live thing, the playing shows thing, I don't love that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
When did you get involved with the magazine?
I got involved with Antigravity pretty much around the time it started. Common misconception: I did not start it. I actually had nothing to do with Antigravity's inception.
Okay.
But I was in the orbit of the
I
people.
think he was
who
asking
were,
me about it earlier. I was like, I don't
Yeah.
actually know.
Actually, what I did was I think whenever I was interviewing Bobby, I was mixing up your story
is what
that
it
I had understood that you had.
Interesting.
Did you get the magazine? Oh God, I'm going to say it. I'm going to be wrong.
Did
Did you get? This is the story I heard that you got
That's
the
all right, we'll work it
magazine
out.
from
Yeah.
from a woman. There was a woman that was involved with the magazine that you inherited from.
Okay, there must be a third.
There's another magazine, I guess.
Yeah. God damn it.
No, I'll tell you a story. Antigravity started by a guy named Leo McGovern.
Oh, okay. See.
Okay.
Told you.
It was
Sound like
his
an asshole
magazine,
again.
and he started it. but I knew Leo, and I started hanging out. Leo's a Westbanker, and like there's a whole. You could do a whole documentary about the West Bank.
Oh, yeah.
And its contribution to the New Orleans like underground scene.
Right.
Now that he moved there, he's all into it.
That is
I got to
part of the
justify this
reason-
move from the city. Find out.
One reason I love the West Bank is because ever since I started hanging out with all the freaks who live
Yeah.
over there, I've just been in love with it. And there's so much creativity over there. And
Yeah.
I don't know if it's like the suburban ennui or like
It's got to be
the lack
Yeah,
of
yeah.
things to do.
Yeah.
Like there's just so much talent over there.
There's a little more things to rebel against.
So to me, it is like a magical place, and slightly just off kilter. It's like
Yeah.
everybody over there is kind of fucked up.
That's for sure.
But
Like,
they've
this is great. No
channeled
one's
it.
going to call the cops on me.
Right. They've channeled
That's
it so beautifully,
Yeah.
like Joe Lacaze, for example, he was from the West Bank.
Uh-huh.
I could really go on about like all of the legendary West Bankers, but. Yeah, Leo McGovern, West Banker, starts Antigravity in 2004 before Katrina. And I was in the orbit and I was like, oh, yeah, this is cool. Like, finally, somebody's like doing a magazine about like youth culture in New Orleans because traditionally, like with me, I grew up in the 90s and there was like a pretty healthy zine culture, but like the established media just wanted nothing to do with New Orleans punk or hardcore or metal. There was Offbeat, and they're just like kind of jazz fest worlds.
Yeah.
So Leo starts Antigravity. I get involved. I'm just a writer, I just wrote things, like I wrote a thing about Planet X. I was really into a band called Glory Bee, and I interviewed them. And then I just like became more involved.
Was that something you had done before? Sorry to cut you off.
Oh.
Like just writing, or was this like you just kind of was like, I like the scene. You got a magazine. I like what's going on, or was it you'd done some journalism or?
I hadn't done anything I would call journalism. I had written a scene report for Maximum Rock and Roll, which
nice.
is somewhat infamous now, which we could talk about.
Yes,
but like I was definitely a writer. Like I went to NOCA for writing. Like writing was sort of a thing that I was like centrally involved with. So it wasn't out of the blue.
Yeah.
Right. It was like perfectly natural for me to get involved with the magazine on that level. I had done like little zines in high school and stuff.
Yeah.
So I just became like more involved over the years, and sort of through attrition, I just became more involved. I was a writer, and then I was like a senior writer because I just started producing so much content. Like I interviewed Suplex and I interviewed like a ton of bands, and I took a bunch of photos, and it was really just because there wasn't many people involved with the magazine at that point. And then I became an associate editor, and then I became the senior editor, and then I became the like editor-in-chief. And to Leo's credit, he just kind of knew that I had this passion, and he kind of got out of my way and let me just do my thing and
help nurture it
sort
towards
of
it.
like steer the magazine. And then in 2015, I bought the business of it and became the publisher in addition to editor-in-chief.
Okay, nice.
And
I didn't realize. I thought it was just the man. Yeah, I didn't know it was the publisher as well. That's killer.
Yeah.
That's been a while.
Yep. I signed the checks.
Well, it's amazing to keep a magazine running that long too. I mean, and you've been passionate about it since what 2004, whenever you started.
Yeah. Started
Was it
right before Katrina.
Was it immediately an online resource as well?
Oh no, we were late to the party with the online thing. It was print, black and white primarily. I know there was dabblings of online. You could like download the PDF.
Right.
But I'm not sure exactly when. Maybe around 2014 is when maybe we had like a web friendly version.
Right.
And we're still catching up with that. I mean, we're kind of late to the party on the online thing. And to be honest, as a child of the 90s, like I don't really care about the online version that much.
Right.
I mean, I care about it. I want it to be good. And
Right.
I want the writers. I want the content to be accessible worldwide.
Right.
But
There forever.
the baby is the print version. Like that's the passion. Like that's like if it were like there would never be like an only online version
Right,
of
right.
Antigravity. I think I would just shut it down
Right.
before I
Because
own-
what's
I did-
cool about it is it's a fucking paper mag. That's what I feel
Yeah,
as
I mean,
well.
That's how I feel about it. I say this a lot, but to me, the web version is like the takeout version,
Right.
where it's like we put all the pieces and stuff in a box, and you can
Yeah.
reconstruct it, and you get the basic idea of the magazine, and
Yeah.
the content is there, like the protein. But the print version is like dining in, full experience, full atmosphere. You know, we design it to be like a print magazine, and then a lot of times the online version, like it's an afterthought. So it's like some things that worked in print don't really work that great online.
Yeah.
But again, the content is universally accessible. It's good for the writers. It's good for the contributors. I mean, if we were print only, it would just be a little too niche.
Right,
You know?
it definitely pigeonholes it
Yeah,
more in. Yeah,
so,
but
you know.
but to get the print though, also it's like you have to be out and about. You know, like you got
Yeah.
you're gonna find it at the the bar that you go to, the rock place. You're gonna find it at the
Yeah,
the
take
hip
it home,
joint that you
read
need
it on the shitter. You
right.
know, like
yeah,
What's your favorite time of year for doing the magazine?
hmm.
Like, I mean, do you feel like doing the Creepy Fest issue and things like that, or if you do a Creepy Fest issue, or
I mean, we do Creepy Fest coverage for sure, and I love covering Bill. Anytime that I can cover, like, you know, someone like Bill, or like I guess that sort of part of the scene.
Right.
You know, like Bill's a fucking legend.
Right.
Yeah.
And you know, the
classic plug?
somebody did an interview with him. I can't remember, but there's a thing that Bill said that stuck with me. And you know, Bill said that if you produce a show, if you're like a show promoter, you really have to put some care into it. Like you have to have stage production.
Right.
Like somebody has to be there to be like, you band, go play now. Okay, done. Get off. You get on. Like
yeah, somebody running the show.
New Orleans sometimes has a problem, maybe not so
Being
much
too
now,
loose?
of just kind of everybody do whatever. And like,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, back in the day, shows would start like 2 hours late. I don't know if they do that anymore.
No.
I don't
maybe-
think they
No,
and
not
in
really.
fact, I think they're starting earlier now. It's like the 8 o'clock when you're like, oh, it's 8. It
Yeah.
should probably start at 10. No, it fucking
and
starts at 8 now.
That is really strange.
It's
Yeah.
really weird. Like
It's
you're done
weird
by
not getting
midnight.
home at 3 a.m.
It's
You know
real
what I
weird.
mean? It's
I
weird.
wonder
Like,
why that is. That's weird. now
It
that
was.
you
I
think
mean,
about
after
it.
the pandemic shit, when we came back, it was like they had to do it earlier because you couldn't be out too late. You couldn't, congregate as much. And then I think they just kind of kept it going because it was like more people are coming out at 7, 8 o'clock to come do this. They'll
Yeah.
put the money into the show, and everybody's gone by.
yeah, I think I was
11.
back from Homa at 1 o'clock in the morning one time,
Which is
back
insane.
in Mandeville.
That-
You know, like, so that's it. And we fucking stayed till the end, later than we should have.
Right.
yeah. So yeah, favorite time of year? I don't know. I know I have times of year I don't like,
Oh,
Right.
yeah.
which is
Talking about the holidays or something like that.
I really hate. Well, I don't hate, but like trying to put together the January issue in December is such a nightmare
Oh,
because
yeah.
you know, with me, like it's like okay, January, New Year, let's start strong. Let's
Yeah.
have a strong issue. But we're making it in December, and I call it the Christmas fog, you know, and that shit just comes earlier and
Oh
earlier.
yeah. Right.
And it's like you just know at a certain point, like the productivity is just completely gone. Or like, you know, Mardi Gras too. I think like Mardi Gras this year was so wacky being late. I mean, it
Yeah.
totally messed with our production schedule. Because with Mardi Gras, you have to back it up at least a week.
Oh yeah.
You have to figure like that Wednesday before when the parades really start going, like you're not going to get shit done. You can't, even if you have people who are responsible, like they're going to get fucked up by some force outside of them, like traffic or whatever.
It's that, yeah,
Yeah.
trying to get around the city at all.
Like who's going to go on their Mardi Gras walkabout, you know, starting on like Thursday, like we're not going to hear from them until like a week.
It'll be
you
a
know?
week. Yeah.
So, like trying to put the issue together around those times, I don't love that. But the rest of the time, you know, it's great.
Was it Maximum Rock and Roll and magazines like that inspired Antigravity in the first place?
I mean, it inspired me, you know, for sure.
That-
Like
I was wondering whenever you were saying that you were a contributor to Maximum Rock and Roll at one point, that you were able to bring a style from like that kind of West Coast magazine to Antigravity.
yeah, I don't know if it was the style so much as like the format.
Yeah. Like I've read these types of magazines so much that I actually feel like I'd have an eye for this. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
I think the thing about Maximum was that it was just like so many voices. Like they just had so many columns, and the columns were great.
Right.
And it was like the columns, the features, the reviews. Which is like if you look at Antigravity, columns, features, reviews, and
Right.
I don't even know if Maximum invented that, but and just like their interview style. I love the interview style. Like that's to me the primary way that Antigravity does features.
Yeah.
Especially if it's like with a band or something. Like I don't really want anyone to write a long form piece about a band.
Right.
I much prefer an interview. And just like killer photos too, like just live.
I was thinking
shots.
that too, because like you did the photos in the first, like you were a photographer and you were doing the articles.
Yeah, I mean, just because there was no one else to do it. I wasn't like trying to do anything special. I was just interview Suplex. I'm gonna take the pictures because I don't know if anyone else is gonna be here.
I know I'll do it. Yeah, right. Yeah, I know I'll get it done.
Is that like a looking back? Do you feel like those early days of interviewing Suplex and things like that were the most exciting, or do you really like it now running the magazine? 10 years into running the magazine.
I like both. I loved putting stories together. I love conducting a good interview and taking photos. I'm happy to sort of step back.
Yeah.
I'm older now, so like I'm happy to be able to provide a platform for like another generation of music enthusiasts. Like Willie Archambault, like he's the future. He's one of our writers. Back from Japan, ready to kick ass.
Shit.
He's Japanese?
No, he was just in Japan for 3 years. But he's like he's a special kind of person that I just don't think there are many of these days.
I wish I could hear his name back. I bet it sounds nothing like a Japanese name.
No, it's very New Orleans. It's very French. It's very French. What's up,
He's
Willie?
Japanese, huh?
I mean, he speaks Japanese.
Sorry.
He's very fluent, and he lived there. But he's just a journalist and just a lover of all things New Orleans music. And he's like not trying to be in a band, which is fine. But it's like I said,
very
like
helpful.
The people who are like dedicated to the documentation part of the scene and like all that's like what I would call like the support part of the scene, like those are special people, I think, so I'm happy to provide the platform and step back. And then, if I get a chance to like jump in and do an interview or something, like, I'll definitely do it.
I was going to ask you still doing, get out.
I do the cool ones.
I mean,
some shows still,
if Balzac comes out with another album, I might have to interview him again just because like I have the context to like go, I've followed his career trajectory for like over a decade now, so like 2 decades really, because he started in 2003, another Westbanker, so,
nice.
I like it both. I like all of it. The only thing I don't like is the politics. Like just the sort of managing of egos, and sometimes that can be a bit rough. But I love all parts of the actual production of the magazine, like anything that it is involved with like putting the content together and polishing it up and putting it out, and then people enjoy it. I mean, I even love the distro part. I mean, I'm part of the crew that slings the paper, and, so that part's fun. You get to see like how it is going.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Like, do we have a lot left over? We don't. Like, you walk into a place and like, yes, Antigravity. Like, that's so that's really nice. That's
still the
part of it.
Yeah, that's killer.
And it makes me feel like I'm 16 years old again. Like, here's my zine. Like, you want my zine? You check out my zine.
Yeah, talk to a band.
Yeah, totally.
I took some pictures. Yeah, fucking right.
I think for sure it's at our record store that's in Mandeville, like Mandeville Sound 22.
It might be. I mean, our North Shore distro has been kind of spotty. It's really hard.
They might pick it up themselves. I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard to get somebody to like reliably do that every
Probably
month.
wrong about that again now that I'm thinking about it.
Do that.
No, I'm joking.
Do that Causeway.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
We had a guy doing it, and he kind of dropped off, which is just that's what happens. People sort of come and go, and if it's somewhere in town, that's not really a problem. But if it's like you had the one North Shore guy who was like you were meeting up with every month,
Yeah.
and then they go away, it's like, yeah, that makes sense. Like, like who would want to do that forever? You know, have that sort of monthly obligation.
You'd have to go to a record store.
Right. Well,
They-
like I said, it's the people that are out there like supporting the scene on it too. Like it's hard
Yeah.
to find people that are just like this. I like the scene. I want to do things for the scene.
Is there anybody that any of the new bands now that you listen to that are exciting you as far as that you've covered in the magazine?
Yeah, that's a tough question.
Right.
For me, because in a way I feel so removed. Like I have a 4-year-old kid. I don't go to a ton of shows. I will say I love watching the trajectory of Brat.
Yeah.
Like that is a band that I am just so fascinated with. And I just think that they have such a great blueprint for being a successful band. You know, like
Oh, they're hitting all the marks for
musically
sure.
solid,
Yeah.
solidly musically, you know, but like also, you know, their singer
Visually.
Liz is different,
You know, eccentric singer.
like something
Yeah.
different, you
Yeah.
know, breaking open the box, you know, and then they just tour
Leaning into the fat
relentlessly.
drummer
All over
thing,
it.
too.
They just what they did
What's that?
touring two.
I was saying leaning into the fat drummer thing as well.
Oh, yeah.
They're,
like,
they're
taking
interesting
shit
to
on
look
that.
at.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing is
Yeah.
like, you know, you know, music, like the music scene doesn't exist in a vacuum. Like you
Right.
can't just judge a band solely on their musical output, even if it sounds like you should. Like it's a spectacle, it's visual. So like,
Yeah.
they're an interesting band. Like they're like a TV show in a way.
Yeah.
But it's all I don't, you know, it's all undercut by like solid musicianship and just like
Yeah.
militant touring, which is like
Bunch. Like
it's
they,
just so impressive
they
what they
just
do.
did the European tour. And now they're
Yeah.
doing another one, or they're in the middle of it, or going back to it. I don't know.
And-
It's insane.
And they're on like TikTok, so that's
Yeah.
fun. Like their videos on TikTok are great. And then but you know, I'm not like the most prolific band guy anymore.
Right.
I'm not
so
either.
it's
I don't go to as many shows as I'd like. I feel like I go to shows that I should go to.
This is how we
Right.
find out. This
You
is how
know-
we find out about bands. We hit up bands that we've seen in flyers and like, hey, come to our house because like we're
We
too
can't really-
tired to go to other places. I also have kids. I can't do things like that.
Yeah.
Right. I have
It's
to
kind
live-
of funny getting up to this age and like trying to stay active in something that I've been active in since I was really been into since I was a teenager. You know.
Yeah. Well, that's, you know, that is what the magazine provides for me. Like I get to live vicariously.
Right.
You know, like I'm holed up in my office in Gretna putting together the magazine, but at least I get to see, you know, photos and
Yeah.
stuff, and I get to, you know, we do the, you know, read the interviews and edit the interviews.
Yeah.
So, you know, I know there's like a ton of cool stuff out there, but and I just like listen to a lot of podcasts now too. So, I just I mean, if I thought about it more, I'd probably have like some more bands that I know are playing out that are doing cool stuff. But that question usually trips me up.
Well, yeah. It was actually after I said it, I was like, shit. I shouldn't have said the one about the bands right now. Maybe that's not the cool question.
I mean, no, it's a totally legitimate question, and it's one I should be able to answer. But it's just sort of the curse of being the editor of Antigravity. Is
Yeah.
like there's all kind of shows that I would go to, but like it's deadline, so like
Right.
I've got to stay home and, you know, get the magazine
Right.
shit out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a lot of that stuff. I mean, you know, my boys in High, you know, they're crushing it.
Right.
I love
I
High.
have been. I was just thinking about them the other day. They've been killing it for a while.
And they'd be a
have.
great
They
interview. You
have.
got to get Craig Oob in
Yeah.
here.
Fuck, I'd
Yeah,
like to
you
play
know.
a show with him too. That'd be
Yeah.
awesome.
But no, we should definitely get that fucking guy.
Yeah, he's a character. So I love those. Dummy Dumpster.
Yeah.
Just
We had that set up, and then somehow that fell through because we were going to talk to the lead singer, which I've forgotten his name right now,
Mike Shadwell.
Mike, and we'd done a show with him at Euclid, and it was just him, and
Yeah.
it was like one of the craziest things.
I
I've
loved
seen.
it, and I'm looking over at some guy who's there for this other like very Ramones punk band. He's looking at me. He's like, "What the fuck?" I'm like, "This is it, man. We're in it. Like,
This is what's
the
happening."
show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is exactly what's supposed to be happening."
Yeah,
I love Mike. I mean,
Yeah.
Mike Shadwell and Dummy Dumpster is what I imagine like going to a punk show in 1983.
Right,
must
yeah.
have been, like,
Butthole
just-
Surfers, like 83.
again, like just breaking the mold. Just there's nobody like him doing
No.
what he's doing, and
There won't be.
I played
probably not.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
played with him at Bank Street back in the day with Big Fat and Delicious. And it threw me off because he had the fucking football thing. That's what I remember the most. Is like there was a fucking guy who had his mic taped to a fucking football padding, and they were throwing out fucking stuffed animals into the pit. Like, what the fuck?
is it paper mache?
is this show? No, it's a football padding gear.
It is actually-
There is embellishment. I don't
he
know
like
the
taped a
specifics,
PVC
but
pipe to it or some shit.
it's football pads with like, and then it's got a microphone like
Yeah.
mount on it so that
Yeah.
he can play guitar and sing. But I'll tell you this too, like having a 4-year-old, it's like I appreciate Dummy Dumpster even more because my little 4-year-old boy walks around like I'm the man, you know. I'm like,
Do it.
yeah, it's like Dummy Dumpster is like if a 4-year-old like you know like in like an Adam Sandler movie like
He just
grew up
became
and,
a
like
gr-
became like 200 pounds and had a guitar like I'm the king of the black.
I was actually wondering what that interview was going to be like if it did work out, to be honest with you. I've never thought about
we
what.
need to hit him back up.
Well, that you know, I think interviewing Mike Shadwell would be like interviewing Clark Kent.
Yeah.
You know?
Right? Yeah, it's not gonna be. You know.
Yeah, I don't know if you're gonna get stage Mike, but yeah, I mean, Dummy Dumpster is just amazing. Like we're so lucky to have a band like that, like now to this day. And I don't,
Yeah.
I know they play enough to say like they're current and stuff. And they're so tight too. Like they've become like every time I see them, I'm like, God damn, they're so tight now. Like,
Yeah.
you know, and
They're really
even when
good.
like being loose it works for them, but like, you know, with Bill, you know, Bill on drums and
course,
Izzy, you know, like they are a machine. So
Yeah.
if they play, you know, maybe this is inspiration to try to like actually make it out to a show.
Right.
Considering you have a 4-year-old at home, do you play music at home yourself all that much?
So whenever I bring out the guitar, he tells me to stop.
Nice.
Oh my
That's
god.
so brutal.
Nice.
Yeah, that's bad.
so
Yeah, my kids hate
brutal.
it. They don't care.
So fucked.
I have. Does your daughter like it? She probably loves it. You play acoustic guitar
Yeah,
to her.
she's okay
I'm just
with
at
it.
home playing metal guitar. My fucking
Yeah,
kids hate it.
No, they
Yeah.
love that
Yeah,
shit. And
you-
I got a you know, when I play the bass, the kids all over the fucking thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, and I mean, I have my drums are in storage right now. I could like set my drums up upstairs. It might be too loud for him, you
Right.
know?
Yeah.
And that's like, you know, that's daddy's corny shit. Like, you know, he's his own man, even though he's 4 years old.
Yeah.
He's totally
He's
his
very
own
much. Yeah.
person.
Yeah, I got a 3-year-old little dude. He is fucking militant.
Yeah, I just bring out an acoustic.
Yeah,
you know, and he
that's all
puts
I
his
got.
hand on the board. Daddy, stop.
Nope.
God.
We're fucking done
Like-
here, buddy.
I'm like this
Yeah.
is like,
Total music
I mean,
killer with
it's
these
so
fucking kids.
It's
Goddamn
it's
these
just
kids.
completely unfiltered criticism,
Right?
Just no
Brutally honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
What's weird
Don't
too
like
is
this.
I was so into it at that age. If my dad played fucking electric guitar, I would have been so fucking like hyped. You know what I mean?
I mean that's the dream, right? And I
Yeah.
try to play him music. Like sometimes I try to play him like Ramones
Yeah.
or something, or like something that's like
when my
kind
daughter
of-
was younger, she went for the Ramones. She's like completely out of that now.
yeah.
It's like
he doesn't. He wants to listen to the Despicable Me soundtrack.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I try to put my shit on. It's like, what about the fucking Twinkle Twinkle? It's like,
Like-
yeah, whatever, man.
Yeah,
Shit.
like you fucking poser.
poser, don't you know the
I ain't raised no
Ramones?
fucking loser.
Right, I'm trying to make you cool.
I read an art.
ingrained in there. It's a fucking instinct you'll find out later.
Yeah.
I had read an article though about parents trying to force like their generation of music on a younger generation as like stunts them or something like that. So I tried like it's a stupid article. I think it
Yeah.
might have been
I
High
don't know.
Times or something.
Back in the day, it was like you didn't get it forced onto you. That was just the only
No.
music you had accessible.
This is what it was. The Onion made a fucking story about it, and it made
Oh,
it seem
well,
so
then there you go.
ridiculous that I was like, "God damn it!"
This is real.
Yeah,
No.
Yeah. I mean, who knows?
Yeah.
He could grow up not caring at all about music, and I'm just gonna try to remember that whatever music he is into, like I remember being a kid and the music that I was into, and I can, you know, it's this thing that plays out with every generation, right? Like,
yeah.
the boomers had Elvis,
Right.
and their parents thought he was the devil. you know.
And then you have kids, and then you're playing Elvis to your children.
Right, or like, yeah, or even today, it's like, you know, like the music today, and you're like, what is this crap? You know, it's not the Ramones, but like, you know, it's a wavelength that is not meant for you.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly that.
So,
the Ramones weren't
I try
Kiss.
to, you
Kiss
know-
wasn't fucking, you know, Buddy Holly. It's all the shit.
And you know, all of my records are there for him if he ever just if he wants to get into them. And you know, the thing is, if he's in my car, he's gonna listen to my music.
Exactly.
You know, so
well, then one day
see.
they'll get older and think that they're hip because they're listening to the music you listen to.
I
It's
mean,
like,
maybe.
yeah, perfect,
or,
man.
He
or
listened-
not. He
or
might be a
pretty-
jock. You know, it's I really he's
My kid's turned into a jock. Or he's starting to, at least. He's
Oh, yeah, he listens.
Yeah.
so you
Hell
know
yeah.
what can
Get some
you
exercise
do?
out
You
there.
know,
Nothing. You just let it happen.
God, I was hoping you'd be a loser who'd play guitar just like me.
yeah. And the kids today are weird. Like they don't tear it up like they did back then. I mean, this is all anecdotal, but
Yeah.
all of my like nephews and stuff, and the like sort of extended family and like all the sort of adolescent kids I know, they're like good. You know,
Yeah.
they're not out drinking 40s on the golf course,
Smoking
at 2
cigarettes.
in the morning. Yeah.
Definitely not
Definitely
cigarettes.
not smoking cigarettes.
Yeah, I
Maybe
think I was
vaping,
12.
but
Right.
even vaping's not like
It's
that
not cool
thing,
anymore.
you know?
No, it's very straight laced nowadays.
It
Yeah.
kind of is.
Yeah.
It's a lot of online shit. People staying in their rooms, which I don't know, whatever. But
Exactly.
it's strange that they're not like hooligans.
Yeah.
No, it was that way growing up for me.
For sure.
Well, you just spent a lot of time outside, and there wasn't really much to do, so
I
you just
mean-
kind of found things to do, and you know,
Right.
whether that led into blowing shit up or like slicing things open or whatever. You
Finding
know?
porno in the woods.
That was all.
That's
That's
like,
for
how did that?
everybody. Because everybody
Speaking of the West Bank,
100% done that.
Okay, here's the thing about the West Bank. Here's
There's
the
porno
Someone's
in all
born in
the woods.
I knew two separate groups of like dudes on the West Bank, and each one of them had something called like the jerk off room, which was like a abandoned shed in the woods.
Oh my god!
And it was like two separate civilizations. Like I'm speaking, like you know, anthropologically, like
Yes.
as someone who like studying human civilization,
Right.
As it has manifest on the West Bank. These were like two separate tribes, you know. Very some interaction, but it
our
wasn't
jerk
like.
off guys like this.
But it's
Our
like they
jerk off
both
guys like
independently
this.
came up with these jerk off rooms. I mean, this is stuff I heard about, you know.
Right.
This is, you know, but it's like it's funny how maybe that's just a 90s thing, like a pre-internet.
Go to the jerk joint. You mean the fuck shed? No, we only go to the jerk joint.
I didn't know there was a fuck shit.
right.
You guys call yours the fuck shed? That's weird.
I mean, I went to a party when I was in high school. It was like porn and 40s. You know,
Right.
and a trampoline, you know.
Oh,
Yes.
At the guy's house whose like parents were cool with that.
Whose parents were cool with porn and
40s and
40s.
trampolines.
Yeah.
I'll tell y'all outside.
Sounds like a sounds like a fucking episode of the Man Show.
What?
But you know, I made lifelong friendships, like basically at that party, like dudes
Right.
that I'm close with today that I love and who are awesome. You know, it's just one of those things.
are you
Just-
are you a big vinyl collector as well?
Not really. I mean, I have records.
That surprises me, considering you do the magazine.
I'll buy a record, and I get a lot of records. You know, like
Yeah.
so I have a record collection. It's not impressive by magazine publisher standards. It's like probably like this big. It's
Yeah.
like one big long shelf,
Right.
and a Christmas section, and maybe a little overflow. So and there's cool stuff in there and stuff that goes back to when I was in high school, but it's not like what you'd think it would be for someone like me. It's not like a whole like section
Walls
of
shit. Yeah.
No, I mean I got CD, but my collection. I mean it's curated. It's a good collection, but
Right.
This is a question I'm starting to ask because I noticed this with you. How did you get out of the punk scene untattooed?
okay, that's yeah. I just didn't have a lot of
not
money.
being a guy who
Right.
does not have any tattoos, playing punk music, I was just curious.
Me personally, I was never going to spend money on a tattoo. And,
Yeah.
and that's like no judgment.
No, yeah.
To me, it's like, I never had that kind of money. It's like if I had money, I might buy like a microphone. You know?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Like if I had $80, right, I'm gonna buy a Shure
SM58.
Right.
I'm not gonna. I
That's what these
personally
are.
am not gonna go get a tattoo.
Right.
With like the little money that I have.
Right. I actually need tangible shit.
But that's
Yeah.
just my personal decision. I don't care about. I mean, if people have tattoos, that's cool.
Every
know,
tattoo I have, I traded for something.
and it's
I
weird.
didn't pay
Yeah,
any
it's-
money. I just
it's-
traded things.
It's totally weird, and it's there's tattoos I would get, but it's just not high on my priority list.
Yeah.
Right.
My brain is tattooed, my,
That's what it is.
my
too,
brain
yeah.
looks like a gutter punk vest,
Yeah, that's
for
right.
sure. I'm definitely wearing it all on the inside.
What's you? I know that you're doing pretty much a classic version of a magazine. What's the future, though? What do you think? Do you feel like it'll evolve, or you think the great thing about it is keeping it the same?
Yeah, people ask me that. I wouldn't really change very much.
Right.
I mean, we could always use like more advertisers. Like, so I'm all, we just did like, we just reinstituted an online listing section, which we did not. We had listings pre-COVID in print. And then like once COVID hit, it was like, well, that kind of sucked anyway. Like,
Right.
fuck that.
Fuck,
like, let's
yeah.
just,
Ixnay that
COVID was
shit.
like jettison everything that's not totally essential.
Yeah.
Because like we're going down to 2,000 copies from 11,000 copies. So still coming out of like the COVID hole, we just did online listings. I'm trying to use that to maybe juice some interest in advertising, but like that's like actually just run of the mill everyday publisher stuff. I can't say, there's a possibility that we might go up in page count.
Right.
But I really like what it is. I don't see it being anything different. I don't see it going to color or, the contributors will come and go.
Right.
So it's, it does evolve and it changes and it kind of like, there's people involved to cover certain scenes and then they go away and maybe we don't cover it that much. But I'd say the central format's like pretty solid. It's pretty
Right.
set.
It's been doing pretty fucking good.
Yeah,
I like
doing
it.
this
I mean,
long, asshole.
you know-
Why you ask me? Yeah,
No, I mean, it's
General,
it's
as you
totally
go,
fair
things-
question.
yeah, no.
I just, and we're 21 years in.
Right.
And the thing is, too, and this is something I've always believed, that even at the beginning, I was like, if we just stay the course and keep doing what we're doing, like one day it'll be special. Like,
Right.
it wasn't so special in 2004. Like when Antigravity came out, I want to say there was at least 2 other magazines that started around the same time doing the same shit.
Right.
And like,
I just gotta wait these motherfuckers out.
I mean, I don't even know if it. I mean, there was probably a little bit of that. I mean, there's a healthy amount of like competition
Right.
and like
Of course,
sort
of course.
existing out of spite.
Yeah,
helps
yeah.
to a point.
Yeah. I find
but,
spite works very well, to
in
be honest with you.
2004, we were probably in Tower Records along with dozens of other magazines, and now like there is no Tower
No,
Records.
right.
and
Yeah,
there-
the whole
there's-
landscape for entertainment has changed, and like we're trying to figure out where that is in
And media.
2025. Yeah,
Yeah, and I mean, I ask myself this now too, and everyone else. It's like, find me another Antigravity anywhere in this country, and there might be a couple. I mean, I'm not saying like we're the only ones,
Right.
but we are close to it. I mean,
Yeah.
like a local, independently owned print magazine that comes out reliably every month. That's not owned like by some conglomerate.
Right.
It hasn't been
Some
bought
Big
out.
bullshit.
Or hasn't been like completely cannibalized or something. Like, I just don't know that there's a lot of magazines like us, and like we've just like stayed the course. So we've stayed the same, but like all this other shit has just kind of like crumbled away.
Right.
So I think it's kind of special now. And I like the format. It's nice. It's like it starts out with like little bits, like the intro and like little columns that kind of get deeper and deeper, and the word count gets bigger, and the themes get like more complicated and difficult or like whatever. And then there's like a nice little photo section intermission, and then like more features, and then reviews, which are great. I'm trying to bolster the reviews. Like if there's anything I could improve, we could always improve the reviews. I'm really trying to hammer to all of our contributors, like we really need to review more local acts. That's really hard to do.
Right. Yeah.
There's a misconception that like maybe I like sit on some throne like you review this,
You're the
you
good
review
one.
that.
Yeah.
And 20 years ago it might have been like that, but it's like people just really review what they want, you
Right,
know,
yeah.
and it's really, you know,
It shows they're at.
I mean, we have a channel where it's like, hey, does anybody want to review this? But like, you can't assign a review to somebody and like make them do it.
Right.
So I'm always trying to get like more local coverage, more local reviews. But yeah, and then like by the time the reviews happen, then it's like comics and crosswords, just like fun shit.
Yeah.
You know, because it's like ultimately it's got to be something that I want to read. Like so I'm like, yeah. By the time you get through all the features, it's like, let's do some like let's kind of like we kind of fade it in, and then we got heavy. Let's fade out.
Yeah.
And
It's
that's
a
a
fun
pretty
way out.
locked in format, you know.
Right.
So I feel like that's never gonna change.
Have you ever thought about doing a podcast for the
I think
magazine?
about it all the time. I think
Yeah.
about all that stuff, and we should. But the hard thing about that is, I mean, it really takes a lot of effort from dozens of people every month to just do what we do,
Right. And then to add more on top of that.
and you know, it's kind of one of those like catch-22s where like, well, maybe we'd up our profile and get more advertisers with a podcast, which would buy us more time to devote to a podcast, but it would also kind of spread
Take
us
away,
thin,
from the magazine.
you know. And it's like you get into that thing. It's like, oh, like you should do shows and you should do, you know, this, and it's like, yeah, maybe, but then it's like Antigravity magazine just becomes like one part of like this conglomerate
Right.
of things,
Yeah.
and then
Now it's just a
maybe
shadow company.
it, you know, there's only so much time and energy in a month, so I really don't want to take away from like the focus of the magazine, because I don't want to make it less good, you know. I
Right.
want it to be as good as we can possibly make it.
Right. Well, I think do you think that's a pretty good ending right
That's
there?
good
for the
right there. I
for
like
the
that a lot. Yeah.
podcast?
No, I think that's great.
Dan, it was really nice
Thanks so
talking to
much
you,
for
man.
coming out.
Same,
Yeah,
yeah,
that was
appreciate
great.
y'all.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Of course.
And is there anything you wanted to plug before we go? It's like
Just pick up a magazine.
Pick up a magazine, fucking, you know, go to a show, write
yeah.
a review, send it in. Maybe they'll fucking do something with it.
Yeah, just New Orleans. Keep doing what you're doing.
Hell yeah. I like
all
that.
right, man. Thanks so much.
Fucking mama now.
Huh.